So I grew up in a small town in Edgewater, New Jersey, across the river from Manhattan. And I come from a large family, and I'm child number 9 out of 10 children. Growing up, Dad worked for a printing press, and he would always come home and tell stories about like how horrible his boss was. And he was like, you know, he probably only had one person above him. And so like growing up, just thinking, oh, it's the most horrible thing to ever work for someone. Like that's something you never want to do. And I really think that is the seed that I know planted in my head that, you know, you were not successful, you know, unless you were an entrepreneur. Majority of my siblings are entrepreneurs. So you know, my sister Barbara is on the Shark Tank, and I never look at her as my competitor, but I admire her for how much she has accomplished, and that just gives me drive just to see someone I love in the family that was able to make it from nothing to something. Prior to real estate, I worked in a restaurant, and I started off as a hostess, and it's when I had my children. I did a hostess, and then I went to serving, and then I went to floor manager, and I love that job. I mean, I try to get all, my 3 children growing up, I tried to get them all to work in a restaurant at some point in their life because I think everyone should. And it is the most enjoyable job. I think it was fun because people come to the restaurant and they're happy. I carry that into real estate. It's similar in the fact of every customer you meet, they're on a journey to purchase or sell, and it's a big transaction for them. It's not eating in a restaurant and serving food, but the result is the same. As long as they receive good service and you're there to guide them, they get the same result. They're happy in the end. When I started working in the restaurant business, there's this phrase called being in the weeds. It gives you an adrenaline rush that I love. I absolutely love that feeling. The feeling of, okay, I have to step up my game, and I have to be on top of it, and I can't screw this up, you know. I absolutely love that feeling, and I think I get that same feeling when I negotiate contracts. You know, you want to make the seller happy, you want to make the buyer happy. I get that same kind of feeling during that time as being in the weeds, and I love that. I love that feeling. When I set out to start my own business, it actually came from a place of pain. I went through a bad divorce, and it was just me and my youngest. And I saw myself as a single woman raising a teenager. And I was like, shit, this is really scary. And I was already in real estate, and I just decided at that point, okay, well, you can no longer work for a company and that you have to do this on your own. So I think thinking about it then, I didn't even think about, well, what's involved or how hard is this gonna be? Are you gonna open? I didn't even think about that. I just thought, you know, how much money you're making now. If you work for yourself, that's the only way you're going to survive and really take care of my daughter. My mom probably had just as much influence on me as my dad, and my mom was very kind, and you know, and she had such strong faith. Having faith is the most wonderful thing in the world because I truly don't worry. I don't worry about it. I've already been to the bottom. I've already been there. You know, I've been there where I couldn't pay my electric bill when my husband left, and I had my daughter, and I had to eat or, you know, keep the utilities on. So I've already been to the bottom, so that doesn't scare me anymore. So family is very important to me. It always has been, coming from a big family. And right now I have 3 grandchildren, and they all live in the same community. One's in high school, middle school, and then the baby is 3.5. And I'm around them as much as I can be. I take off on Fridays to be with the youngest grandson. He has learned that before we go to the pool, that Mima has to go check our house. Olivia, who's in middle school now, she loves it. She'll come on a showing with me and she'll say, is it okay if I show them the house? You know, like she'll walk ahead of me and she'll go, oh, this is the master bedroom. Olivia is definitely my hope for someone that might be in the real estate business. There's a lot of pressure in real estate, and then being the owner of a company puts more pressure on you. And we actually have 2 offices, and I always want all of my agents to be as successful as I am. I have a routine every day, and part of my routine is spending at least the first hour or so taking care of myself so that I have energy to give out to others. And that would include, you know, waking up, doing devotions. I walk every morning with my girlfriend, And then I come back and then I'll usually water my plants or work outside just for, 10, 15 minutes, that type of thing. Just walk through the yard and see all my flowers. And then I get on the computer and call someone, text someone. Now there's so many different platforms, social media, reach out to them, email them, whatever it might be. Just check in with people to see how they're doing, because that's the most important thing with real estate, is talking to people, making sure, they know you care, and so that if they ever do decide to have a real estate transaction, you're the first in mind. When I go to a closing, whether they're a seller or a buyer, and they're happy, that makes me happy. And when they say to me, you changed our life, you were wonderful, we're glad you were part of it. And that's what I want to hear. I just really believe that if you're helping people, you're being kind and you're making a difference in people's lives, the rest just follows. It's not even something you have to think about.